once agents log in for the day, all they'll need to do is click on the contact button, log in. Now, we do have multiple forms of login here. I connected over voice over IP, so this will just connect right to your microphone that you have plugged into the PC. You also have PSTN, where that's where you enter like your desk phone. You click login, a call will be made to your desk phone. You pick it up, you hold that line, and that's where all the calls are going to go. We do also have DDN. Here's where we actually give you a phone number and an access code that you'll dial to go ahead and get connected to the soft phone through a different phone to get all your dialer calls. The other option we have here is a PBX. If you guys set up a PBX box with us. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and reset the soft phone real quick because I'm stuck in the DDN nail-up. So just get connected again. This time I am gonna do VoIP. Go ahead and log in for the day. And then the next thing I want to show you guys is we have two flavors on the soft phone. One is manual, which is just free dialing as they're working through the accounts. The other one is strategy. This one is where managements combine inbound, outbound strategies together, put them into a group, and then of course the agents nail up to that group to accept calls from those campaigns that are configured. And then of course they'll get calls as it comes in. So let's go ahead and go over manual dialing at the moment. So there's a couple different ways that you can do manual dialing. We have the ability to do free form dialing, meaning that agents, while skip tracing, don't even have to enter their phone number into the system, and they can call and keep calling the phone numbers as they get them. All the calls will be associated to the account that's pulled up on the primary work card. Same thing with all the dialer history, recordings, transcripts. The other flavor is they can simply click on the little phone icon to go ahead and dial that phone number. Then if you guys want, we do have the ability to restrict the free form dialing. I ended that a little bit soon, but that's okay. So when a call ends, we have an agent disposition pop-up. Now this is different from the carrier return code or any result codes entered into the system. These dispositions are set up as either attempts, contacts, wrong numbers, and the great thing about this is it's real-time information. So as soon as the agent saves this, and let's say this was the last attempt that's allowed for the day, right after they save this, the system will recognize that, hey, you have just reached your max attempts on this account for the 7 days, and it will go ahead and mask out all the phone numbers. Same thing if this was a contact agent disposition. As soon as they save it, it would mask the phone numbers as well. So everything is real time to prevent any agents from exceeding that max dialing attempts allowed. The other nice feature that we have is, say, an inbound call came in, the Annie lookup found an account, but maybe the consumer was calling about a different account that they have in the system. The agent can simply look up that other account in the system and then tell Impact to go ahead and set the call records to the current account that's pulled up. So then, of course, all the notes dialer will be associated to the right call that the customer is calling about. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. The other thing that is associated with it is we have a state compliance SOD that will run upon demographic updates just in case they change the zip code and then now it falls under a different attempt max. As soon as they save the demographic, it will refresh the work card and mask any phone numbers. Um, and then, so let's go ahead and make another dial out, because I want to go ahead and show you how, once the consumer actually answers, you'll notice a recording. And the nice thing about this is when you go into any sensitive fields while the agent is setting up a payment arrangement, it will go ahead and stop the recording. So let me go ahead and get to the banking information. So you'll see that we have a nice indicated icon. As soon as they start clicking into the sensitive fields, the agent gets a notification showing that it's stopping the recording right then and there. Same thing happens with the phone pay window. So as soon as they go into one of the sensitive fields, you'll notice that the recording will stop until they actually get out of the sensitive fields. Then the recording will then pick up again. While the agent is on the call, we have the ability to, of course, take your normal payment methods, but aside that, you have the ability to send a text or email with the secured payment link. So this will go ahead and send a link in the preferred sending method that the customer wanted, and it will take them right to the payment portal. They'll get authorization, and the phone pay will go right into the system, into the work history for the agent to see, as well as the phone pay table as well to get processed, and of course be able to send in real time. And then of course, I just want to touch on this. Any emails or texts sent from the work card with the associated number, any replies from the customer can be displayed on the work card as well. As soon as the call ends, of course, it automatically attaches the recording to the document tab, and transcriptions of the call from both parties will be appended into the account history. Now, let's say that the customer wanted to speak to a manager or maybe even another agent. You do have the ability to do a transfer. We offer both a soft, a warm and cold transfer. Of course, the cold transfer will just automatically send the call right to the other party that, or agent, supervisor, manager that the agent passes it to. Then, of course, you can do a warm where you can prep up the other agent on what the customer is needing before actually throwing that call. I'm just going to go ahead and pick someone that's offline. Everyone's offline, which is why they're red. If they are green, they're available to go ahead and take a call, but let's just pretend Hector was online. You'll notice that I then get a pop-up to disposition the call, but also it enables the throw button. So right now, of course, it's trying to transfer the call over to Hector, which I actually got his voicemail on the other end, but let's say he answered, I prepped them up on the call, I just simply click the throw, and then now I can be ready for another call. And then, of course, the most important thing that not all dialers offer is that agent disposition pop-up that is real time for compliance to start masking out any information that the agent shouldn't be able to see after they end the call. And then I'm just going to go ahead and send a call through a campaign. So basically I have a clicker page up that we'll go over a little bit later. The clicker is going to go ahead and pass a phone number. The agent is currently prospecting. So I should get a pop-up here very shortly. There we go. So we have two flavors of this. This is going to prompt the agent saying, hey, are you ready to take this outbound call? I'm going to click yes. At that time, it's going to go ahead and start calling. And then, of course, if the other party answers, they're going to be real time. The account, the work card then pops to the account that was just called. And then, of course, once the call ends, they'll go ahead and save their disposition at that time, where the agent then goes into a wrap-up time until they select that disposition. And then, of course, they go to idle until made available again, and then they're ready to take the next call. So I went ahead and made myself available here. And then I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate an inbound call coming to me. So let me go ahead and dial my inbound Annie. Right. So as you can see, I just got the inbound call. The work card then popped to the account that's associated with that. And again, at the end of the call, it's going to prompt me on for the agent disposition. Next, let's go ahead and move into the management slide. So get wrapped up here. That console, and here's where you see that clicker page that I just kind of quickly displayed, where your managers will be able to pick which outbound calls they want to go ahead and start dialing. Once they click that, you can do one to many. You can even open up 4 different panels if you have 4 different groups to go ahead and send calls to. Of course, I'm just going to do the one. I'll go ahead and leave those panels up, but you would simply click go. And of course, since I already clicked on those phone numbers, it went ahead and turned off my campaign. So then it would pick up from the other campaign if there was multiple selected. And then to get to the actual admin configuration, they would simply click on the CX button. But first, let's go ahead and dive into what entails on creating a campaign. So once you click on that ACI mobile strategy, because I'm in a mobile environment, obviously there's 2 flavors of the code. There's the ACI, which of course is clicker, and we have the predictive version that simply you give it a start and end time for the day, or you just simply turn it on and it'll start blasting out phone numbers to how many prospecting agents at that current moment. So our dialer is fed by our workflow manager, where, as you know, these are all real-time statements. So if someone just took a call and the account did qualify for the campaign, on the next select, it's going to go ahead and not call that phone number because it's all an action that just happened based off of your evaluations that you have configured. You have the ability to send both phone 1 and phone 2. If you're using auxiliary phone table, of course, you can pass more phone numbers at a single time. For Reg F, we actually recommend just sending one phone number at a time, just in case you're getting close to the temps on the call. So basically, you set up your configuration. Of course, you want your update as a disqualifier in your actual eval, so then it doesn't keep trying to call the same numbers that just called. And our dialer system will actually prevent that, so you'll probably end up calling us saying, hey, how come nothing's loading into the clicker or going out? And then we'll go ahead and ask you to go ahead and make sure that you have an update that disqualifies based off your evals, so it picks up fresh accounts each time. And both our ACI and Predictive are both controlled by our workflow manager. And so as you can see, they have currently made almost 16,000 outbound calls at the moment, with a 26% contact ratio. And how many calls per hour they're making, their drop calls, and of course the total minutes with, of course, all the stats. You can then check your inbounds as well, your service levels, and also your agents as well. So you can see how many people are logged on, any calls waiting, your average handle time, longest wait, and your longest or your average idle, inbound queue, outbound queue. Along with that, you have your active summary, which of course we were just looking at. You have your supervisor dashboard, where this is going to show you all your current strategies that are on for either outbound. You can switch to inbound as well. You can see your agents that are currently online and their status. Okay, that just took a second to load due to the records, but so each one of these are your active outbound campaigns, where you can see your agents, what status they're currently in, how long they have currently been in that status, call handling, work time, talk time, average talk time, average hold talk time, or sorry, and then yeah, so we have all your stats, even when the agent's logged in. You can go to an all agent tab if you want to look at all agents instead of individual ones inside each strategy. You have your call statuses, where this will pick up all the calls that are currently going on for each one of your campaigns and what annies are being used. The lines tab is all the phone numbers that are going out, whether they be from a campaign or if they're by manual, and what's currently going on with them. So some of these you'll see no agent, or it was transferred. Just basically anything you need to know about what's currently going on with all the calls that are currently happening. And then, of course, I switched over to the inbound dashboard. So this will show you all your inbounds, how many current lines are there, any calls that are currently in the waiting state, your active agents, your abandoned percent, total calls, how many were handled, voicemail transfers, hang up, talk hours, work hours, all that good stuff. The other thing that you can do is on the agents is, say you hear this guy getting a little bit loud on the floor, you have the ability to connect your extension and then listen to that call to monitor. If you need to coach the agent, it will only be you and the agent, where the agent can hear you. And if you actually need to barge in, you have that capability as well, along with the ability to actually drop the user out of the dialer interface, and so force them to log back in, or if you need to get them off the call right away and go talk to them, you have that ability. Let's go back into the actual configuration here. So under the ACI contact strategies, these are all your current strategies that you have published out there. Here's where you have the ability to turn them on and off. Within the actual campaigns, you have the ability to record the agent calls, enable the agent transcript if you want that. Also be able to set up your ANI that's associated with any outbound calls. We do also have an ANI stack profiles as well, where we can have a local present, meaning the area code matches the customer that you're calling. You have the ability to see your lead list from prior days. And then here's where you have a couple campaign configurations where you have a automatic mode, manual mode. So what I demoed with that pop-up asking the agent, hey, are you ready to make the outbound call that just came from this outbound campaign, was a manual mode ACI. The automatic mode, what would happen is when the clicker clicked those phone numbers, it would automatically start calling them. And once someone picks up, it will go ahead and pass that customer to an agent that's prospecting. Then you have your answer machine detection that you can turn on and off. Next is where you actually associate agents and strategies in a strategy group that becomes selectable from the work card. So each one of these are a group that you configure. From here, you can go ahead and pick which strategies you want involved within that group. Next, you have your agent groups. This client's set up a little bit different, but you would see your group here and you would set your agents who you want selected within that group. This configuration is using what we call skill routing rules, and that's where you actually set up dictionary items like English, Spanish, subro, property damage, where you have different agents that handle certain claims. We have the ability to pick that up and skill route it to the appropriate agent for that call that's coming in. Next is your, this is the actual where you pick which skills get associated with the groups. The other one is just the rules. Next is your contact list, and these are going to be lead list for the actual campaigns that are going. The user management is, of course, where you'll see all your agents that you published out to the dialer, what type of role they have. We have a agent, supervisor, and admin, where of course admins can do everything on the configuration, where supervisors can only view the dashboard and make calls, where agents can only make calls from the work card. That's one thing I need to
If you can go back to users for 1 second, Eric.
Of course.
Yeah, part of the PBX component, if that's enabled, if you click into one of the users, right there in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to find an extension. It automatically assigns an extension. Of course, you can activate it or deactivate it. If you go over to the left bottom where it says voicemail management on the tree.
Yes.
There you go. This is great for management. Right here, you're going to be able to find if you're a supervisor, of course, you're going to be able to find every unanswered or unlistened message by agent. You can drill into one and see which ones were answered, which ones were not. You can create a report behind it or listen into the voicemail itself through here. So this is great for a supervisor to make sure that the collectors are answering their calls.
Yes, and that actually brought me up to something I skipped. So as an agent on the soft phone, if they get a voicemail come in through email, emails them. So then they'll have a notification, but they would simply click the CX button on the soft phone and it'll take them right to their voicemail so they can go ahead and listen and then call that customer back if need be.
Yeah, and right there, it also gives you the opportunity, if you click on one of them, one of the messages, you have the opportunity to forward that email or send it over to an active user right there on top. So you can add an email or select a user to transfer that voicemail to.
Perfect. Thank you.
There's a question.
Yep.
Does it have a transcription feature?
Yep.
Or it does.
Yeah, we do. So on 2.5, we do provide the transcription, and it gets stored in the dialer history table, and you have full access to it. And for version 3.0.
Oh, thank you. And then Eric, real quick, while you're on that right there, on that view, that stop recording button, is it available to anybody in the system, or is that roles based, or?
That's based off of the system configuration. You can enable it or disable this button for agents.
Can it be controlled by security group, Eric?
Not at the moment, but that's definitely possible. Yep.
If it were disabled, would it begin and end at the appropriate time during the recording session?
Yes, it will start recording if the campaign's set up to record. But then let's say the customer said, hey, I don't want to be recorded. They have the ability to stop recording at that time. And then of course, the call ends and it will start recording on the next call that they get prompted for.
Thank you.
The next thing we have is canned reports that, of course, you have agent levels, queue reports, call history, campaign disposition, leads, popular reports, and even custom reports. If you guys want one-off reports, we can definitely design them for you based off of the dialer information that's stored. Like you want to see who's maybe in wrap-up time the most. We can help you out with the report with that. Also with idle, get off the call, the idle time will then start. And then you have the ability in the system parameters to go ahead and have that flash red after X minutes or even seconds. Just a kind of a helpful hint to your agent saying, hey, we need to get you back on the phone. All right. And then, of course, you have the ability to do a call search, either a quick search or if you need to get more fine-tuned to find the call, you have that ability. Next is, of course, your Annie stacks. This is all the Annies that are currently associated with what campaigns. We have the IVR builder where, of course, you guys can design the flow of your inbound, outbound scripts. All pretty straightforward. Nice little icons with informational, so you kind of know what's being dragged and dropped into here. And as you can see, it gets pretty complex just based off of what type of script you want to put together. And then of course the voicemail management, the template management we handle for you guys. But say you needed to export a bunch of calls for maybe the previous week, you have the ability to do a recording extract where it'll then export all those recordings that meet your filters that you configure. You can do ands or ors in between these. This is the file naming convention. We're not limited on just these fields that you're seeing. We're adding company, client as well, dialer history, ID, call ID will be available. And this will simply export them and put them into a zip file on your local PC. We do also offer an FTP push, so we can go ahead and push recordings to an FTP site based off weekly, daily, whatever your frequency you guys want.
Eric?
Yep.
Can you go back to that recording extractor?
Yeah.
And just hit the, you were adding different items and there was a drop down. I wanted to see what options are there.
And this, I know you're kind of limited here, but if you guys needed, say, a client or company, we can definitely add that for you as well.
Okay,
we can even
great.
add like the state that the customer was in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then along with the current dashboards that you see here, we do also offer a dashboard within ad hoc where you guys can see by hour the current breakdown of talk minutes, total talk minutes for the current day, how many calls they have answered, right party contacts, how many payments, so then you can get a conversion ratio from the number of calls that they took, along with current commission for the day, beginning of the month, end of the month, and also your total commission for the month. This is a canned one, customized, so we can add anything that you guys want to see here. We can then also show total commissions for the day, along with any omni-channel payments, how many batch runs you guys currently do with stats, how many opt-out you guys get. Of course, you're emailing for the current day, the current month, so you guys can kind of keep track of what's going on with those broadcasts itself, along with principal dash panels where you can see company level stats, today's collections as well.
So what's kind of good about this, and I don't know if you have this.
Along with that, of course, we hold the do not call table, but what's nice is in system parameters, you have the ability to obfuscate that phone number across all accounts, or just simply that account that's currently flagged as the do not call, based off the status. So if I flag this for phone one, my phone one will automatically go right into the do not contact table until unflagged. And then, like I said, if that phone number existed on another account and you had the obfuscate set to yes, it would automatically get masked as well.
Well, I wanted to do a time check because I know we're about 20 minutes remaining.
I'm sorry. On the current view, on the main view here. There's a send email, send text, and those options are available up there. If there's not currently consent on the account level for that activity, will it basically bomb out before somebody's able to move through it? Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. And then we want to look at.
I will explain briefly the IVR functionality. So the first thing is script builder. And here I'm going to show you, here's a very simple one. And it's where you can build your inbound and outbound IVRs as comprehensive as you need them. So on the right side, we have all these objects. This is object driven. So we select them and we drag and drop. So for example, here in this one, if I want to play a recording before the transfer, we just select and drop the object and insert before. And it's as easy to upload a WAV file and save your work. For example, here we have one that has another type of variables where we check agent status or we check selection entry, press 1 or press 2, right? Also, we can add skills based on language or based on departments or teams. So here we update and we give each agent a skill. Here we have the skill routing rules, where here is all the dictionaries that we add to the skills, and each user is where here at the bottom we add the dictionaries. Sorry, here. It's very simple, it's very friendly, intuitive. We just can give you guys a clinic and go over each one of the buttons to show every one of their functionality. And that's it. Thank you.
It also has, just to add to it a little bit, it has the ability to do data dips through APIs directly to the Impact database. You can customize that as well. Plus, it's got an advanced scripting tool behind it that you can drill into and add even more functionality.
Right. You're talking about, of course, the page script as well.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Any questions on the IVR?
We do skill-based routing now, and it's all based on like the phone number that the person dials when they call in. So say somebody calls a specific 800 number, we can send that to a group of agents. Is that something that's possible in here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty basic.
Totally.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty much what we're doing nowadays. Or, if it's, or we could check, say it does an Annie lookup for the account, and will it try the owner of the account first? Like say, hey, is
right.
so-and-so available?
Yeah.
And if they're not, then we can send it to the group.
To the group, right.
If I can add, yes, we do. We look at the Annie and we look at the DNS. So we can route based on their number and what they dialed and take it to that route. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the first,
and
and
then
that's
you
the
have
first tier. On the second tier, once it gets to the agent grouping, we can actually route based on variables of the record. If the record is from a different state or has an account number or whatever. So we can get into multi-tiers of routing to a specific agent or group.
And if you send it over to a specific agent, you have the choice of having it to go to his or her voicemail. In which case, if somebody leaves a voicemail, we can forward an email to whoever you decide, or multiple emails with a recording attached with the message, or as we said, reroute it to a different group. So the agent that's been waiting the longest answers the call. You can
Right.
see all this in the dashboard that Eric showed in the inbound queue. You'll see how many people are in queue for an inbound traffic.
Does it have the ability to take a payment?
Yes. Yeah, and you can take it in two forms. It could be IVR driven, just touchstone, or you can have our AI, our inbound AI IVR, have a conversational communications and take the payment as well.
Thank you. Any parameters for negotiation at all?
You can on the AI side, you can.
Carl, are both of those versions of?
I don't know if you've seen our 3.0 work card, but this work card is completely configurable by you. We have a UI designer that allows you to define each one of these widgets and relabel, rename, and so on and so forth. Anyway, there's 4 functions and features that we call Talk IQ, and these are in effect during a call, during the conversation, to help the agent manage the call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand our dialer. We have a mock-up demo here. So once I've connected to a strategy group, then that strategy group can be configured with these 4 different features, and these are the transcription, which is basically a real-time log of the conversation on both sides, on the consumer and the agent. Then we have another one called word spotting, which is only on the consumer side, and you can define words or sentences that the AI should be listening for, and that's going to provide aid to the agent with follow-up questions. Okay, I'll show you this in a second. The third feature is what we call sentiment analysis, which will analyze the speaking tone of the consumer and perform sentiment analysis live to the agent, so the agent can properly adjust. And the last one is the auditor, which is basically a set of intent-driven sentences that are expected from the agent. Okay, so what I'll do is right now I'm at the dialer side of the panel. If I switch over to the transcription side, again, this is a mock-up call. On the right-hand side here, you see what has been defined for the audit. Okay, so in this conversation, it's expected that the agent speaks a greeting. Good morning, good afternoon, hello, how are you? Any greeting. It's all, again, intent-driven. To say, introduce himself or herself with their name. I'm calling from. And these, again, are all user definable. As the conversation has taken place, the system will put in a check mark on that phrase or sentence that you're expecting him to speak on the agent side. So that's that auditor. Then on the sentiment analysis, you will see that every so many, and this is definable, every so many exchanges, there will be an evaluation by the AI, and it's going to provide feedback on the sentiment analysis provided by the AI to the agent. Okay, there's frustrated, negative, confused, appreciative, all sorts of feedback to the agent. And the last one is what we call word spotting. That is on the consumer channel only. And that is when the AI listens or hears a specific word or sentence, provides feedback to the agent. For instance, if the consumer says, well, my attorney advised that I should file bankruptcy. Well, if you have the word bankruptcy as one of your keywords, the system will immediately provide feedback with a pop-up screen to the agent, asking the agent to ask questions or follow up with questions. I want to cancel my account, for instance, or I have a dispute well, what are you disputing? The system will respond, right? Ask the consumer, what are you disputing? All of these transactions that you see here are dynamically recorded and appended to the history. Okay, so that is what we call Talk IQ. These 4 features: the transcription, real-time transcription, the word spotting, which is at the end of the day is coaching the agent as to how to react to a sentence or a phrase from the consumer, the sentiment analysis, and the auditor, which will gauge if the agent follow the company's defined protocols for an exchange with the consumer. So that's in a nutshell, that's the talk. It's recorded and logged as the transcription takes place. That entire transcription you see here is going to be appended to the history. In addition to that, the call is getting recorded, right? So you have both. You have the recording of the call and the transcription.
Yeah, we would have expected in a call, right?
Yes.
If a agent didn't fulfill 2 of 5, right? Would there be a cumulative, both an individual and or a cumulative reporting of that available to a supervisor or otherwise for us to, come behind that and coach?
That's the agent scorecard, and you can define a point system if you like to each one of these that are defined here. Okay, so for instance, perhaps the mini Miranda, it's more important than the greeting, right? So you can say if assign 50 points to the mini Miranda and assign 10 points to the greeting, and the AI can tell you, how many points for each call you got. So you got feedback from the Impact IQ assistant can be defined for that purpose. So the short answer is yes, you can define the number of points and put some weight on each one of these that you define. It's as simple as adding a new one or editing, making changes. That's what you saw there. This is the word spotting piece where you can say what words you're expecting or phrases. It can be a phrase. And this is the feedback that the agent is going to get. So let me guide you through the process of canceling, or you said bankruptcy, then ask the following questions. What chapter are you filing? When did you file? Do you have an attorney? What's the name? So this is the feedback that the agent is going to get when the consumer says the word bankruptcy, and you can add as many words as you need, right? And then the sentiment analysis, conversations or sentences logged, the system is going to provide that feedback.